Blog Talk Radio.
Hello. Welcome to Psychic Tapestry's Spiritual Tune-Up. I'm Ken Kessler, and she is Michele Amburgey. Hi, Michele.
Hi there, Ken. Nice to be here.
Oh, it was looking at the little dashboard here on Blog Talk Radio. Stuff was going, but no sound was starting, and I thought, uh-oh, here we go again. But no, everything's fine.
Oh. And then we have a little PTSD from that one, huh?
Yes. Yeah. That was Jim Croce that started us off because it was 44 years ago today that we lost him. I can't believe it has been 44 years. That's amazing to me. I can't wrap my brain around that. We are live, by the way. It is Wednesday, September 20th. And I couldn't say it if it wasn't true. And we are here live. 347-838-9903 is the number. Lots of ways to connect, that being one of them. And quite frankly, that's the best. If you are listening on your computer to Blog Talk Radio, you can scroll down, pop in the chat room, and join us there. Right now, it's just me all alone. So come in and keep me company. You can also connect through social media, facebook.com/Psychic Tapestry, @Psychic Tapestry on Twitter. And you can go to psychictapestry.com and click on send us a message. In the lower right, you'll see it, a little blue box. And you can connect that way as well. Phone is the best. You're going to have follow-up questions for us. We're going to have them for you. And that's easier to do that back and forth on the phone than writing it in the chat box or in social media. But because you could be working or you could be doing something that doesn't allow you to do that, that's why those other options are available to you. I'm just letting you know. And by the way, if you go to psychictapestry.com, and you should, you can also click on Get a Reading, and you can schedule a private reading with Michele or with me or with any of the folks who do shows who are hosts on Psychic Tapestry shows. And I mention that to you because sometimes you can't get through, or sometimes we don't get to you, or you could even be listening to this as a podcast and the show's already over and you can't call in. So those are other ways that you can connect. You also, it's great for people who want a little bit of privacy. Sometimes you might want to talk to Michele, but you don't want to do that on the radio where everybody can hear it. So there's another option for you. You can also cut out the middleman, go right to Michele's website, which is micheleamburgey.com. That's Michele with one L, AMBURGEY.com. You can see all the cool classes that she's got coming up, and you can also connect that way and go right to Michele and get a private consultation. Do you call them consultations? Do you call them reading? Do you call them sessions?
I call all the above. Sessions, I guess,
okay.
Is kind of a collection plate for all that.
Yeah.
It's just we have so many different words for all of the different things we do.
Yes, we do. But and a lot of them mean the same thing. And so whatever you're comfortable with, that's cool. And you can connect with Michele that way. We started with Jim Croce, and before we get back to Jim Croce, I have to right here in front of everybody wish you, Michele, a happy birthday. So happy birthday!
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for spending.
Think of a much better much better place to be than on the air with you and all of our callers on my birthday. I think that's kind of fun.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for spending your special day with us. I want to mention a programming note for folks who do check out the Spiritual Tune-Up show here. No show next week due to some scheduling things. And after that, we're going to push it back half an hour. So it'll start at 7:30 Pacific. And so there. So we'll still be here. The show will still be just as long as it ever was, just starting a little bit later. And I hope that's okay with everybody. I'm sure we will find out because folks like to reach out on social media and let you know exactly how they feel about things. So,
it'll let everybody have time to get into their jammies and stuff.
Yeah, especially East Coasters. Give you a chance to settle down and all that stuff. So that's cool. So Jim Croce, the song. If you're not familiar with that song, and you should. If you're not familiar with Jim Croce, you should be as well. So if you're not familiar with Jim Croce, that's your homework assignment. Go and listen to his wonderful music. There's only a handful of albums that he did, and there's a wonderful collection called Photographs and Memories that you can listen to. Many of these songs were big hits, but they're all wonderful songs. And I picked that one not just because of the anniversary of his passing, but because I wanted to talk about ego. The song "You Don't Mess Around with Jim" is there's a lot of ego involved in that. You don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. And if you listen to that, it's a story song like a lot of his songs were, and it's about somebody who thinks that they are all that and a bag of chips. If anybody even says that anymore, but they think that they are the best, the biggest, the baddest, everything, and they get and that person is Jim, and Jim gets really schooled by the end, and it's an important, certainly an important message to keep your ego in check. But I wanted to talk about that because ego is there's a contradiction. It's the double. I'm not sure if it's a contradiction or double-edged sword kind of thing. Maybe both. Probably both. In metaphysical stuff, and if you are starting out, and if you have read books or you found a teacher, one of the first things that they will probably tell you is that you have to keep your ego in check when you are doing readings, when you are connecting with angels or spirit or any of that kind of stuff. And that's on the one hand that you have to do that. And on the other hand, you're supposed to accept some pretty amazing stuff and what it says about you, because you're amazing too. You are. And all of this is amazing. If you're getting into studying and practicing mediumship, it's wow. It really is a wow that dead people want to talk to you. And as you get into it, it's a lot of dead people who want to talk to you. And it's hard not to experience that and think that, just like the guy in the song, you're pretty amazing. And it's hard not to go from that to getting a little cocky that, yeah, I am pretty darn amazing. Look at that. It's a tricky balance, because you have to, on the one hand, it is amazing. It is a whole new world that opens up, and it is amazing. And whether it's mediumship or whether it's angels, because that's another wow. And it is amazing, and you have to accept that you are so darn amazing that angels or that spirits want to communicate with you. That's big. That's big. I mean, they want to communicate with everyone, which is big too. But most people don't get it, don't know it, don't understand. A lot of them don't want to know it, and that puts you in a pretty small group, and it's hard not to let that have an impact on you. It is pretty darn amazing. I am pretty darn amazing. Look at all the dead people lining up to talk to me. You know who was at my house last night? Archangel Michael. That's right. He came to see me. It's hard not to, it's hard not to get, and you may not say that, but it's hard not to feel that way. And it may not even come out in a way that I just sort of cartoonishly expressed. It may be more of a, when you're with, it may come out when you're with other people and you disagree about things. It's hard not to feel like, why are you treating me like I don't know what I'm talking about? Archangel Michael came to see me. Did he come to see you? I don't think so. So it's hard not to do that. And I was just and Michelle, I was just wondering if there is anything that you can suggest that might help with this, because it is one of the, I think it's one of the first really tricky things that people will come across as they start down this path.
Yeah. And I find it a lot, when I'm working with my students. But the reason I find it in them is because I have a huge ego. I like to be special. And I like to be someone, that, oh my gosh, the angels come to me. But the really big key that I find for myself, and this is what I pass on to my students, and, I'm sharing with all of you, is that I am in service to the angels and to God and to all of them. They might be coming to me, but it is my job to be in service to them. And so that keeps me humble. It's like, yeah, they're coming to me, but I'm here to work / be in such a wonderful space of joy and happiness. But it's really keeping it in perspective. It's my job here. My sole job here is to be a voice for the realms that need to have their wisdom on the planet, and that keeps me humble. Because I have stepped outside the line and I have gotten smacked a couple times. So, one time I got very upset and fired the universe. I decided, the entire universe, I'm done with you. And boy, that was the worst week of my life. It was Murphy's Law kicked in big time, and I basically came crawling into my office at the end of this horrendous week, kind of smoldering. It was just like, I am so sorry. Please forgive me and take me back. And that was a good lesson to me too. But really keeping in perspective, what are you doing? Why really are they coming to you? You are special. You are sacred. There is something wonderful about you, but there is about everybody. And that's part of the message I know that as an angelic messenger that I'm to bring, to let everybody know how special they are.
I think certainly you have to have a certain amount of ego to do a show like this, to think that what you have to say is important enough that people are going to listen. So there definitely is some of that. But I know that there are people who will look at a show like this and think that this is some kind of cash grab pathway to fame and fortune. And if it is, I got to tell you, I'm doing it wrong because Blog Talk Radio is not free, and I'm not charging anybody to listen, and I'm not charging any of the callers to get the mini readings that we do. I do on my website at psychictapestry.com. I do charge for private readings, sessions, what have you, and Michele, I'm sure that you do as well. And
I do.
But this isn't about money. But by the same token, I got to keep my lights on. I got to get food for the family and the dogs and cats.
Right.
So does that make this all about ego? I don't think so. Because I part of it, I think for me, part of it is when you're talking about ego in a negative way, there's sort of an expectation of entitlement that comes with that when it's in a negative way. And I think that's a good way to assess whether what you're doing is ego-driven or not. Is the reason that you're doing it because it's going to be cool and you're going to, is it because you think you deserve it? Because you have a right to it? You have to kind of check in with yourself and see. And part of the thing is that you have to do that a lot when you're doing this. You need to check in with yourself a lot and think about it. And that goes into readings as well. It's a big responsibility. And I don't take it lightly, and I know Michele does not either. And I have so much respect for anyone in the who does some kind of service under in the metaphysical genre, whether you're a tarot card reader or or you read runes, or you read auras, or you talk to dead people, or you talk to angels, what have you. It is a big responsibility to relay those messages. And where ego can come into play is also the way that you give them the message. Do you tweak it a little? Do you leave parts out? Do you embellish it? It's human nature to want to do some of that, but that's also the ego getting in the way. And sometimes that's, I know sometimes for me that's difficult, especially if the message is not. I have never gotten a message for someone that they were a loser, that they, something bad, that they deserved unhappiness. That I never get that kind of a message, but I have gotten messages before. I mean, one of the biggest question that a show like this gets, and that any of the Psychic Tapestry shows get, is about love, and if a former romantic interest is coming back, and a lot of times the answer to that is no, and that's not what the person who's calling in wants to hear, but that's where the whole responsibility thing comes in. I mean, I don't beat him over the head with it. No, he's not coming back. Why would he? No, I don't do that. But, you have to be courteous, and you have to be kind to whoever has placed their trust and faith in you to get some kind of a message. And it is very tricky. I don't know, when you get Michele, when you have a message for somebody that's not all flowers and rainbows and unicorns, what do you do you just shoot from the hip and here it is, he ain't coming back, and you're not getting that job?
Well, here's what I do. Archangel Michael taught me a long time ago. Give it as you get it. So he says, we the angels, and that's who I work for, we are telling you how we want them to hear it. And so give it as you get it. And so that's what I do. And it always goes well. It's when I get in the middle of it, ego, and try to explain it, figure it out for them, soften the blow, it ends up being more of a struggle than when they tell me. Because I'm very clairaudient, so I hear. And so they've told me, just give what you get, period. Don't embellish, don't whitewash it, don't fluff it up, just give what you get. And people cry, but so often those tears are relief. They're tears of release, and they heal, There's a lot of people that I've had that have come for readings that want an answer so bad, and when they don't get the answer, they're actually relieved. They've been holding on to what they think it's supposed to be or what they've been told it's supposed to be or something that wasn't in alignment with them. And when they hear the words as the angels want it said, it's a blessing. It's like they're just blasted with that angelic energy, and it's a healing. So I learned a long time ago. Now, do I ever try to embellish or fluff it up? Yeah, every once in a while I do. I usually end up messing it up. So that's how I do it.
But between how you're saying that you might embellish or fluff it up versus letting your ego get in there and embellish it, in a way, it's one thing to try and soften the blow of a message that isn't rainbows and unicorns. And it's another thing when you embellish a message to make yourself look good. Yeah. And sometimes, and I get that it's not easy because we've got to a point where it's somehow perceived as wrong to think that we're special, and we all are. To think that we are, to think that we're loved by those in spirit who may or may not have known, who we may or may not have known when they were alive, that we are loved by angels. Sometimes, for a lot of people, that's difficult to accept, and some may think that it's a sign of ego to accept that. And then when you do accept that, it can trigger that, I had Archangel Michael over here last night. I'm gonna have Gabriel over tonight, I think. And it's hard not to feel like that because it is so amazing. And I know that I do this show. I do all these shows because I think that the overall message that we all go on, that everybody you have ever known and loved, didn't end when they passed away, that they are still around, they are in spirit, they love you. And I think that is really important. And when you get that and when you accept that, and it's huge. It's just so big. When you accept that, it's hard not to look at other people who don't know that, who have or disagree with it, or have not had those kind of experiences, and feel like you have a little something over them. Yeah. It's tricky. And I don't feel like I have anything over anybody. I feel like I am so grateful, and I feel like I am so blessed that this world has opened up for me. And I don't look at people that have not had the experiences of I've had and think, peon. I don't think that at all. I want to share it. No. I want to share it, and I know a lot of people aren't interested in the sharing just yet. But for those who are, ready, that's what I hope doing these shows gets that message, and I hope the people who are ready find it. And I'm not trying to make myself sound like I'm so good and have such a great handle on this whole ego thing and that it never gets in the way, because I have talked to a lot of dead rock stars, and that's really cool, and it's hard not to it's really hard not to take that and go, you know what? And then drop some name and go, they came to see me. They came to me. It's hard not to, it's hard not to. And it's something that if you're on this path, I think it's something that you will have to you'll have to deal with and address again and again. And it doesn't matter if it's dead rock stars coming to you, or if it's relatives or people you don't know, or angels or archangels. There's a good chance, if you are doing any of this kind of stuff, that you will come across that. Or even if it's not about angel communication or mediumship, even if you are just if tarot cards are your thing, and you've studied a lot, or you're planning to study a lot, and you have a ton of decks and you are really good at it, and you flip over the 10 of swords and you, boom, I know what that means. I get an instant feeling on what it means for you, and it's hard not to go, I am awesome. Go ahead, ask me. Show me one of those cards. I got it down. Show me any card. I can tell you 9 different things it means depending on what you say. And then if it's turned the other way, I got 9 more. I got them all day. Yeah. It's tough not to, and it's tough not to feel that way too, because like Michele says, sometimes people will cry, and and you might feel like you have power. They came to me with a problem, and I turned over some cards, and I told them what their problem is and what they should do about it. And they cried and thanked me. Awesome. Hard not to do that. So it's something that you're going to have to check in with often. And my suggestion for dealing with this is to always keep learning, because you're not done. There's so much. It is huge. And when you do that, when you accept that the hugeness of it all, you realize that what you know is just that you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's more than okay.
Yeah.
But the quest to learn more, to keep learning, is one of the things that I think can help you keep that ego in check. Because yes, you are special, and you are amazing, and you are gifted, and you are talented, and you are a million other wonderful words that mean that stuff. But doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. And you really know a minuscule amount. You really don't know anything. So find out something else. If you are skilled at tarot cards, pick up some oracle cards, because the same rules don't apply to them, and you have to work a little bit harder. And if you're cool with all the cards and you're happy with your decks, you can look at runes, because, man, that takes some learning. Holy God. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's just so much. There is so much. There's a bunch of people who are hanging on the phone waiting to talk to us.
Cool.
I just noticed, and I don't need to say that in a, hey, look at all the people who are waiting to talk to us.
That's because we are so awesome. That of course they are. Track myself up.
I'm not sure if there's much more though to say on ego. I mean, everybody is different, in the way that
yeah.
have to handle it. And
an ego shows up in so many different ways too. Like you were talking about, just really check in with yourself. Where are you coming from? Are you coming as maybe like better than or over somebody? Or are you treating and seeing everyone as equivalently amazing? And another thing the ego will come in as, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, I can't do this, oh no, that can't be happening, no. That's also another form of ego, because ego doesn't like to change. Ego wants you to stay the same. And when you're growing and expanding, a lot of times ego will come up and go, oh no, you're just making that up. It couldn't be you. Oh no, angels wouldn't talk to you. And that's actually another form of ego. And so it's interesting to pay attention to that part too. And that's where my ego comes in. Because when I get ready to do readings, healing, getting on the radio with you, I have this little voice in the back of my head going, you're going to screw it up this time. You might have done good the last 10,052 times, but you're going to screw up this time. You're going to make a mess. You're going to hurt somebody. You're, beep, 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 this little voice. And I've learned to be aware of that as a part of my ego, because I've tamed the part that wants to be like, ta-da. And so ego has learned to come at, the situations a little bit differently. So if you're holding yourself back and not giving yourself room and permission to shine, that's also part of ego. So check on that as well and see where you're at, because you're allowed to shine. Every single person is amazing and wonderful, and we all have our special gifts and our talents and our interests. And part of the joy of living in this plane of existence is experiencing and expressing them. And it doesn't make us better. If we're all doing it, can you imagine how awesome it would be if everybody was expressing their joy, and however that is, dancing, painting, singing, gardening, building. I mean, oh my gosh, it'd be so wonderful. So just my little 2 cents on that.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that's exactly what I went through. I mean, a lot of there are plenty who will say that the whole fame and fortune thing, and that's why I'm doing this, and that's what it drives it. But it's that feeling of not being good enough. Really, the other end of the spectrum from what we were talking about. But that's ego too. And my suggestion about learning, it really applies to that as well. To keep learning, because your ego is going to tell you you're not good enough, or you've done enough, and you haven't. And there's so much to learn. But when I started this, and it was a very and it was different for me than it seems to be for most. And I'm not saying that because that my experience is better than everybody else's. It was just because I had started getting connections to famous people, dead singers and dead musicians. There aren't too many books you can go to, so look to see what that means. And it did feel like, well, why me? Why would Frank Sinatra want to talk to me? And it is hard to, well, he and then it's, well, he wouldn't, and you're imagining things, and your imagination is playing tricks on you, and especially if you think that you are amazing enough that Frank would want to talk to you, please. And that absolutely, that's the kind of thing that I went through, and it may not be that Frank Sinatra is trying to talk to you, but it could be that a relative, whoever else, and you do feel like I'm not I'm not important enough for them to talk to me. I tell people almost every day, whether it's on one of these shows or whether it's when I'm doing stuff at Mystic Isle, the shop where I do readings and stuff, to call in angels for protection, for help, for support, and I will hear often people say that, well, I'm not important enough for Michael to come down and give me a hand, and you are. I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing, Michele, that you were talking about. The ego on the other side. You are good enough, and you are loved, and whether it's Frank Sinatra or whether it's Archangel Michael or whether it's your grandfather or your great uncle or your neighbor or your pet from when you were 9, you are good enough. And that's something else that you're going to have to check in with yourself on. And slap that little voice around that tells you that you're not good enough. Because you are.
Shut up.
And I'll be glad to tell you every week on this show at about this time that you are good enough. But you should tell yourself that, and you should believe it. And that's, I think, and that's leads to the catch-22 of, you are good enough, but you aren't better than. Maybe that's the way you should think about it.
That's perfect. That's perfect, Ken. You are good enough. You're not better than. There's a T-shirt right there.
Yes. Yes. And click T-shirt store at psychictapestry.com and get yours today. No. Not good. No. But that's a very simple way to think about it. That you are good enough, but you aren't better than.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good, simple way. Thank you, Michele.
That is. We just solved the whole problem. You notice how I just grabbed some of that credit, right?
That's fine. It wouldn't have happened without you.
Ego works like that, too. Gee, I'm brilliant with what you just came up with.
I've gone back and forth on whether I want to mention this, and I'm not going to mention any names. But I knew somebody who, when they did past life readings for people, they always put themselves in that past life with that person.
Oh, and that's interesting.
I know we've all had, and we've talked about past lives every once in a while. I know we've all had many, many lives. But that's a bit much.
Yeah.
If you're, and so if you become a part of the reading, that's too far. Yeah. That's ego getting in the way. And that shouldn't happen. Even if you are feeling strongly like somehow there's a connection, that's not, you just, I don't even know what to say, because I can't imagine. I think about some of the people that I have read for in the past week who have come by the shop, and people who have called these shows, and I can't imagine getting involved.
Yeah.
And I know it's very tempting for if you're getting a reading, it's very tempting to want that kind of help, that kind of person to know that they're a part of things, that they're not just giving you, telling you what the Tower card means, that they're, that they're a part of it, and it's just, I think that's just a bit much. And if you are feeling like when you're doing, when you're giving a message to somebody, if you have that feeling, that need to somehow be a part of it, that's ego too, and you need to check that, and it doesn't help them. It just is something that maybe makes you look good.
I know some readers that get personally involved with their clients. You know, they become friends, they get their whole family, they get personally involved, and it never turns out well. It never turns out well. You know, there needs to be a certain degree of independence from, because it can turn into codependence very quickly if you get too involved with a client. And again, that's ego. You know, ego's coming in and needing to get in the middle of everything, and typically it's for a control or a manipulation kind of a thing. And you know, for readers that do that, I'm not casting any judgment at all, but I have found in my experiences watching that getting too involved ends up troublesome. And there's a reason why, like, doctors and psychiatrists and stuff always have policies where you don't get personally involved with your patients. And as readers and healers, it's important, you know, that we check on that ourselves. And I'm very careful about that. And it's hard to be objective too.
Mm-hmm. And if you are going down this path and looking at doing this in service to others, whether you're reading cards or practicing mediumship or angel communication or a mix, opportunities for that will come up often, because a lot of people who will come to see you are hurting. And and you're someone who can help, and they're going to want to form an attachment. And it is ego to think that that's okay, and I'm so amazing they want to take me to dinner. But think about it, because this is, you know, a lot of people don't like to think of that this is a business, but it is a business. And you can argue about you're using a God-given talent to gift and you're making money off it. And maybe to a degree that's true, but you're also giving of your time, of your education, because you took time learning this, of the time you spend on social media promoting it, the money you spend on a service like Blog Talk Radio, any of those kind of things. So it is a business, because there's more to it than just telling them that your mom is here and she says she loves you and she's sorry. Not that she's sorry she loves you, but she's sorry, you know. But but if you feel like you're seeing a particular client often, and your relationship is getting kind of familiar, ask yourself if you would have that kind of relationship with a doctor, with a lawyer.
Right.
Probably not. Yeah. With you know, the person at AT&T that handles your home phone or your internet, or the person at the Sprint store, or the guy who changes the oil for you, or whoever, you know, any of those other professional positions, we don't give a second thought to any of that. But when you get into something like this, the line gets blurred. And especially, I mean, I try not to have the same people on the phone, the same callers every time for a couple of reasons. And the first is I had a long career in radio, and it's bad radio to have the same callers all the time. But the other thing is that it can get into that sort of codependent relationship if you're reading for the same people over and over. You get into that sort of that familiar thing, and you're not helping them by doing that. I see numbers sometimes. Okay, I just took a look. I don't right now, but I see numbers sometimes that I have seen often enough, holding that I know who they are, and it's it's tricky. I don't know. Obviously, they're hurting and they need some help. Am I helping them by taking their call again? Maybe yes, maybe no.
Right.
I don't know. Do you have do you have people who call into your show, or to people who email you or try to get readings over and over and over?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I have had a lot of them, and I'm really, really careful. As soon as I start feeling it going into like a codependent kind of thing, or where the same thing keeps going over and over and over and they're not moving forward, I will stop. I'll either recommend them to someone else. I will tell them, okay, you're ready now to go at, only once a month. And I will break that, because you're not helping them. When it becomes codependent, it becomes you're becoming part of the problem as the reader. And it is my belief that it is the reader's responsibility to be very careful of that too. And part of the problem with a lot of readers is they have no training around stuff like that. Like, I'm lucky I studied psychology in college. So that's some of the first things, you start learning about is all that kind of stuff. And so I feel very lucky that I came into this profession with a lot of knowledge already about this sort of stuff. But it's really important, because, like you said, you're not helping them once there's a codependent thing that starts. And that's what happens when you get personally involved as well. You don't want that codependent. You want your clients to learn and to grow and become independent. For me, that's my goal, is for them to heal to the point to where they don't have to come back. And as much as I want to be able to pay my rent from all these clients, I want my clients to grow and to learn. And part of what I do is I teach my clients and my students, steps that they can take to become independent, even as far as speaking to spirit and angels. Like you were talking at the beginning, Ken, everybody can do it. There's really nothing special about us other than we're bold enough to step up and say yes to the whole thing. But everybody can do it. And that's always a kind of a feature in my readings and in my healing work and everything that I do, is really trying to inspire people to get their own connection and to become their own guru, if you will, because it's really important. And that's how they heal. That's the healing aspect. Because whether you're doing readings or quote-unquote healing, you're still a healer, and people are coming to you to heal. And I think it's really important, really, really important to be aware of that as well.
Yeah, I try to encourage people to live their lives. And it is very easy to get caught up in the magic of readings, and to want to check in with somebody and get a reading before you make every move. And you're not living your life. You gotta make things happen. You gotta make choices. You gotta do things. It's I know it's very tempting once you've had a reading, once you've had a what you feel is a really good reading, where they hit all the points and seem to know you and your situation. It is very tempting to want to wait before you make any decision until you talk to your psychic. It's very tempting to do that. And I was trying to explain to someone today that, okay, you've had 2 readings in the past week. I don't know why you want to come and have one more. You gotta live your life. You gotta make decisions. You gotta do things. I'd be happy to, like you were saying, I'd be happy to have all the money, but I'm not doing. But I just felt like, I'm not doing you any favors by doing another reading, a third one in 10 days, really. I want repeat business in that I want you to tell all your friends and have them come too. I don't want you to come every other day and say, okay, I'm not sure. Do I wear the brown or the blue today?
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't asked you out yet. What do I see now? Well, come on, live your life. Ask him out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or don't, or move on, and do something else. But it's tough, and once again, I've talked too much and I've eaten up a whole bunch of time, so we should probably start taking some calls.
Let's do that.
Okay. The number is 347-838-9903. I do want to mention that although on Blog Talk Radio it says 120 minutes, it's really more like 90 minutes. But I put in 120 because that's the next choice, and I don't want to have to cut off anybody. If you're on the line and we get your call and it's it's 2 minutes left in the show, I don't want to say, oh well, sorry, good luck to you. I can get you take care of you. So that's why. So that's why. That's why it's like that. So if you did want to call, sooner is better than later. Is the point I was trying to make at the beginning of that, back when the Earth was still cooling. 347-838-9903 is our number. Michele, do you want to say anything about yourself or what you're planning to do for callers tonight, or willing to?
Well, there's willing, and then what I'll actually do. Tonight, I am using the oracle cards called Divination of the Ancients that are really powerful cards. And I am just open to help people in whatever way they need help. That's legal. We got to put that in there. It's got to be legal, man.
Right. Okay. I'm pretty much with Michele. I guess it really depends on the call. I do have music is a big thing for both of us, and I do have what I call my psychic jukebox open and running. It's a cloud player with over 20,000 songs in it, and I have it running, playing randomly, shuffling, I believe is the term. And it's not, I believe. I know that's the term. I don't know why I said that. But so it's shuffling, and I have asked my guides and angels to give me the song that is the message for you. Because angels and spirits love music. And so when we get to your call, I'll let you know what's playing and what I think it means for you. But otherwise, it's kind of like Michele says, I guess we'll see what you need. And I'll see who's around and who wants to help and who's got messages for you. So we've probably stalled long enough. You ready for a call?
Let's do it. Maybe
Okey-doke.
Jim Croce will come through.
Maybe he will.
Hello?
Hi, thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hi, my name is Gail.
Hi, Gail. Where are you
Hello?
calling from?
I'm calling from New Jersey.
And how can we help you tonight?
Okay. I was wondering if you see me at a new job anytime soon.
There is something, Gail, that's brewing for you. Are you actively looking right now?
Yes, I am. I applied to a couple. I haven't gotten an interview yet.
I feel like in about 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm pulling up your cards. I usually pull cards before. I was lagging.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. I'm feeling that in about 2 weeks you're going to hear something. I do feel like it's something that you've already applied to. But it's weird. I'm asking why is it taking so long? And what I'm getting from Archangel Michael is he's saying it's just the process. He's saying that it's a job that you applied for maybe about a month ago.
Okay.
And you might want to. God, I'm asking him if he can give me some more information. He's saying, because I'm asking if there's something you can do to kind of speed it up or give him a call or something. He's saying no. It'll be about 2 weeks from now. It feels like there's a man and a woman that you'll be hearing from. Now, I don't know if it's like both of them at the same time. Is it the same place
that I'm already working at, a different division, or is it do you know if it's a completely new?
Well, there is something going on as well where you're at. There's some shifts and changes that are going on. I feel like that there will be a possibility there for you as well. But what Archangel Michael is talking about is it's something that you've actually applied for. So however that works.
Yeah, that's maybe morphed through the company, to the same company. But I'm just wondering, like, this place is not really giving any of my needs, so I'm wondering if to move on or, I'm definitely not going to stay.
Absolutely. Because the question was, are you going to get a job? And I asked if you were actively looking. You said, yes, you've applied. So the answer that you got was to where you're applying. If you're not applying outside of your workspace, please do.
No, I am. I'm applying anywhere that has the thing that I'm looking for. So do you think this place is going to be upset when I leave because I gave a lot there and
upset? They won't be like angry at you. They'll be bummed that you're leaving because you're good. But I get the feeling that where you work, we're talking about ego today. I feel like there's kind of ego involved. And Archangel Michael is saying, don't be concerned about how they're going to feel. It's more important that you go and find what you need so that you're happy. He's saying you've given them plenty, and you don't need to give any more if you're not happy there. And he's saying, don't worry about how they're going to feel.
It's not my field. What I'm doing there is not really my field. It's like it's not really what I studied, and I'm just doing more like administrative, stuff there that, they haven't been able to do. And then I did everything in a very short amount of time, but I'm going to try to get a raise, but I don't think they're going to meet any of my needs. It's kind of that kind of place.
Well, then get your applications out there. But I do feel like you'll hear something in about 2 weeks from something that you've already applied for.
Okay, I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you.
Yeah. Ken, do you have anything to add?
Well, I was just going to say, follow your bliss and figure out what it is you want to do, although I get the feeling you already know.
I know exactly what I want.
Okay.
And
then
none of it is offered by this job. None of it. And they're saying it takes time, but it's not really happening anyway.
Yeah. So you should spend time that you have outside of this job because you need it still to keep the lights on and food in the fridge.
Exactly.
So, but use whatever spare time you can to finding something that is a good fit. And
Yes.
and
I'm not going to go for anything less.
You're right.
Good girl.
And you don't. Yeah, you deserve. You deserve to be paid more. You deserve to be happy and fulfilled with what you're doing. So when you think about this job that you have now, remember that it's not forever. It's for right now, and it's helping to pay the cell bill and whatever else, and it affords you the ability to look for something that does fit better.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was just gonna say, and I feel like Michele said, once you start doing that and putting that positive energy toward something else, something away from this company, I feel like you're gonna find it. The song that was playing is Cadillac Cadillac by Train. Do you know that song?
I know Train, but I haven't.
Okay. The part of this that I feel like is for you is I'm out of here. Call yourself a cab. Watch my Cadillac disappear. I think, and
wow.
you don't have to.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to be like that necessarily to this job.
But I'm
going to
go to a better place. I'm definitely not going to let them take advantage of me and use my ideas and get credit for it. I'm not going to stand for that.
Yeah, exactly. You can keep putting in your time there to get your check that you need to do, but keep your eyes focused on the prize of what you want, and when it comes up, take it and don't look back.
Oh, okay. It sounds very good. Thank you.
You are very
keep
beautiful.
My eyes
good
on
luck.
The prize. Thank you. Bless you for saying thank you.
Thank you for calling us.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Bye-bye. 347-838-9903 is the number. And hi, thanks for hanging on. What's your first name? Hi, if you're calling from area code 336, this is you.
Oh, hey. Hello. Hey, I'm sorry.
What's your first name?
My name is Dee.
And where are you calling from, Dee?
I'm calling from the Carolinas.
And how can we help you tonight?
Well, I've been listening to y'all tonight, and you gave some great information, and that's going to help me spiritual, because I too get visits and stuff from famous people, and just a lot of stuff y'all said tonight. It kind of really helped me. But my question is tonight, I guess it's kind of if anybody from the spirit or anything that's coming through that's going to help me grow in spiritual more,
It's kind of interesting because I'm getting a name Rod or Ron. Do either of those names have any meaning for you?
Rod or Ron? No.
Okay. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open for that, because it's like somebody is like yelling in my ear, and it's like they're here. So keep your eyes open for that. I feel like it's a spirit that's trying to talk to you. Not necessarily an answer to your question, but it's somebody that really wants you to pay attention. And I feel like it's a friend of a friend, kind of a connection that'll be coming through. Are you doing mediumship work?
No, I don't.
Oh, interesting.
But I feel that that's one of my gifts.
Yeah.
Connect.
You might want to look into maybe learning a little bit more about that, because I do feel that's definitely one of your gifts.
Okay.
Another thing that is coming through, and this is Archangel Michael, but Archangel Shamuel is coming in too. So these are archangels, and they're saying if you would ask them to help you, they'll be more than happy to come in and help you, especially Archangel Shamuel. I feel like there's something about your energy, something about the way you work, that you would be really good working with women, and maybe even women who've had like childhood traumas or trauma or something like that. That you would be really good with working, doing readings, doing healing, and maybe even the mediumship work with women like that. When you have Archangel Shamuel come in, a lot of times that very beautiful feminine energy. Also, she's saying that she would come in and she would like to help you with some of your own healing. She's saying that you have a lot of wisdom and you have a lot of experience to help others. But she's saying you have to ask. So she's saying, I'm here. You asked. Now I'm asking you. Please call upon us. And she's saying, call upon all of the angels, all of the archangels. She's saying, every morning when you get up, ask us, all of us, to come and help you with what you want to be doing. And she's saying, and it doesn't just have to be like doing like healing or spiritual work. It can be everything in your life. And she's saying, we want to help you. She's also telling me that that you have some really powerful natural gifts, and they want you to kind of get some teaching, training, education on it. She's saying that there's some books that you can read. Archangel Shamuel is kind of laughing. She's saying YouTube.
Okay.
There's some things there, and just make sure that people that you're learning from are people that feel uplifting, that are of the light, I want to say, and you can really tell the difference. You know, their faces are bright, they're bright and shiny, happy, joyous people. Make sure that you're learning from those kind of people. Don't go into the kind of darker kind of stuff because you're very sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So definitely you've got some gifts there. But the main thing, call upon the angels to help you. They will help you, and make sure you're staying in the light. Don't even tap dance around anything that's even a little bit dark or shadowy, because you're sensitive. But no, you can be doing what Ken and I are doing. Just a little bit of training, a little bit of learning some of the basics and protocols and protection kind of stuff. Prayer and meditation is key, but you can do it. I'm getting a yes for you.
Well, actually, I have worked with women in my church as a leader, as a helping in healing and understand their things that we have to deal in life, and basically, so it helps me too. So I have did that in the past. So that's something I want to continue doing later, and hopefully get back into it. But I did that in the past, helping women. So that's good that you said that.
Yeah, you're getting a confirmation. I actually just pulled up a couple cards for you, and it's you're going to be having some opportunities coming up for you, and you are a healer. You have that healer nature about you, and they're saying do it. And Archangel Michael is saying the light is on within you. The light is on within you. And he's saying go with where it feels good and light-filled. And this is a really important thing for you to focus on. Go where the light is and do your healing and your reading work. Yeah, it's definitely will be so rewarding and such a blessing to you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Ken, do you have something to add?
I do, and this is a lot of validation, really, from what Michele just said. But the song that was playing for you was "No Better Than This" by John Mellencamp, and I want you to listen to this part of it, and then I'm going to highlight two particular phrases in it. But give me clear vision and don't let me miss anything. I'll take the bird that whistles and the world on a string. Fill my fist full of money in these troubled times, and let me share the water with all of mankind.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So I feel like that, and specifically the first and last of that, give me clear vision and don't let me miss anything.
Yeah.
And let me share the water with all of mankind. So I feel like do you talk to your guides? Do you talk to angels?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm getting more into it. I wasn't at first, but I'm getting into it. Yes.
Okay. Ask, like Michelle was saying. Ask. Give me clear vision. Don't let me miss anything. Ask.
Right.
And if you don't feel like you quite get it, they're not going to be mad at you. Ask again. I'm close, but I didn't not quite sure what you mean. Don't be afraid to ask. And then, like Michelle was saying, that you could be sitting in the same chair as we are, and doing this. Share with all of mankind.
Yeah, that'll be something I love to do to help others.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.
All right.
Have a great night, Dee. Thanks.
Okay, you too.
Thank you. 347-838-9903 is the number here at the Spiritual Tune-Up Show. It's Michele Amburgey and me. Hi, thanks for hanging on. What's your first name? Hi, if you're calling from area code 607, this is you.
Oh, hi. Yes. Hey, this is Lisbeth. Hi, Michelle.
Oh, hi,
and
Lisbeth.
Hi, Ken, too. Yeah, I know.
We were co-hosts on Angelic Realms Radio.
You were.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too, sweetheart. Miss you. We should chat soon. So, anyway, thank you for taking my call. I'm actually I need some help with shifting some energy. It's a block. I just need to shift it so that I can just open those floodgates of abundance and everything like that. And I'm just looking for some insight, and if there's a step that I can take, if anybody has to give me an action step that I can take.
Oh, I'm ruffling up my cards really good for you. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle.
Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. Ha ha, I get that.
Oh,
sorry.
Cool. Very cool cards here for you.
Okay.
So I'm getting the healing card. You're definitely your healing. Everything that you do has healing ability. Everything that you do is towards healing. Archangel Michael is asking you to make sure that you're understanding that even when you're doing readings, you're still doing healing. Yep. He's saying that right now, because you've learned and you've grown so much, he's saying especially in the last 8 months, he's giving 8 months. So it's like since the beginning of the year, basically.
That's funny. Okay.
He's saying that it's almost like you're incubating. It's like everything is cooking and everything is cooking. He's saying by the beginning of the year, you will have made some shifts to where you'll actually be out from underneath some kind of oppressive energy. He's not telling what the oppressive energy is, but he's saying right now it's almost like your energy is kind of being drawn off towards something that isn't really serving your real goals. And he's saying, but its time is almost over. And then he's also saying that remember what the source of money is. It isn't clients. It isn't the world. It's God. It's Goddess. It's source. It's whatever you call that. Make sure that you're taking your energy that way, vertically, if you will, and go there and ask for money there. You know, it's like God, the source, God, Goddess, creator, open the foundations of the earth and pour money on me. And don't worry too much about who or where it's coming from. Do your advertising, do your marketing, but don't be too focused on clients and students being your income. Keep your sights on where the source of everything is. He's saying that's going to shift it. When you tap into that energy, when you really click into it, it'll connect up with your heart, and you're actually going to feel your heart open, and that's where the money opening comes in for you.
Okay.
And then whatever this kind of heavy energy is around you will either shift or disappear for you. He's saying early December through December, it will be shifting for you.
Okay.
And he's saying, he keeps saying over and over, remember where the source is. Remember where the source is. Remember where the source is.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, because it's not. It looks like it's clients and students, but it's not. It's the God space. Archangel Michael also wants to tell you that you are doing really, really good work. He's saying he and all of the angelic realms fully support what you're doing. He's saying you have all your ducks in a row. You have everything lined up. You're set up. And he's saying, talking something about your systems. And I'm laughing because I know you're a Virgo too. It's like we love our systems. And he's saying, oh my gosh, when our systems are in place, Ken knows too. And he's saying you have all your systems in place. You have everything lined up. You're good. You've done the work. Now tap into the source from which all of this comes, and you're golden.
Oh.
You're golden. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I kind of got a very similar message not too long ago because I'm shucking and jiving and, studying with a business marketing person. They're telling me how to do this, and you go and you do this and blah, blah, and I'm just like going, oh, my God. And nothing is working for me. And Archangel Michael was like, knock, knock, knock. These people are not your source. God is your source.
No.
As soon as I did that, bam.
Yep, and I've been sitting here going, do I need to start applying to be a substitute teacher in order to make some money to keep me going? And I'm just like, I'm terrified about going into where I could run into all that, the perfuming and chemical stuff that made me quit my job to begin with. And I don't want to do that. But okay, so
you don't have to.
Just needs to incubate a little bit longer. Okay.
And don't forget where the source is. The source, God moves through people, but they are not the source. God is the source. Right. And Archangel Michael is saying, really connect your heart to God and ask for money. He's going, you're allowed to ask for money. You have to ask the right place. And from the right place, from the heart space.
All righty.
Can I have some money? I'm asking.
Yes, you may.
Yay.
Yay. Money for everyone. Yay.
Yay.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Oh, thank you, Michele.
Thank you, honey. How fun that you're on. Ken, do you have anything for our Liz?
The song that was playing when we grabbed your call was Hitsville, UK by The Clash. Do you know that one?
Oh, I know The Clash, but I don't know the song, so Hitsville.
Okay. Hitsville, UK. This is a song about the way that music sort of became manufactured by all the suits and their pushing whatever's in the best package instead of what's really good. But they say true talent will always emerge in time. And I think that's for you. And as the song progresses and it talks about all the slimy deals and the mutants and creeps in the business, it talks about the band, and I'm assuming they were referring to themselves, that blows a hole in the radio because it hasn't sounded good all week. So believe in yourself, and you don't have to do what everybody else says you need to do to fit in. Believe in you. And and there's the whole patience thing, and I hate that. I hate patience. I hate being told to be patient. But true talent will emerge in time, and you're going to blow a hole in the radio. You're going to amaze everybody, probably including yourself.
Oh, boy. Whew, no pressure there.
No. Actually, don't set it up like there's pressure, like you have to, he said the Clash, and now I have to be. No. Because you already are amazing. And it's just, it's just one of those things that I think Michele said earlier for another caller about the process. It's just, hanging in there, believing in you, doing what you do, and I think you're gonna blow a hole in the radio. You're gonna be amazing. You already are, but now you're gonna know.
Thank you. Oh, you guys are awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and you guys have confirmed a lot for me. And wow, I mean that song actually, it just between the song and what Michele said, it's like, okay, yeah. I'm not wording very well. I'm not speaking very well tonight. I'm just processing right now.
Okay. Sometimes words are hard. I certainly get that.
My son would tell me, use your words, Mom, use your words. I don't have any. So thank you. Great confirmation and very synchronous information from both of you. And gives me a lot to meditate on tonight. And I really appreciate you guys taking my call. Thank you so much.
Awesome, honey. I love you, Liz.
Love you too, sweetheart.
We'll talk soon.
All righty. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 347-838-9903 is the number. Always nice to give someone a Clash song. I love that. Hi, thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Julianne.
Hi, Julianne. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New Jersey.
And how can we help you tonight?
So first I have to say it must be a Virgo Healers Convention.
Yay, Virgo!
Because I know Liz, I was actually on her radio show, and I just thought it was so funny that, she called in, and she called in exactly at 11:11, so that was very appropriate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying the show. I definitely related to some of the things that Liz was asking about. And I'm basically just wanting to receive, I guess in a similar way to Liz. I'm a healer. I do angel card readings and astrology, and I have my own spiritual business. And I have been through a lot of suffering this past year. And I had a job interview today, this morning, which I've had a lot of positive signs about. I'm feeling good about it. It would not start until January. So, I mean, I kind of feel like I feel like intuitively I kind of know that this is right because it's been aligning, but there's definitely, they said that they're interviewing other people, so there's some competition, and I don't quite have other things kind of on the horizon, so I'm a little nervous. And then I've also just had this long-running thing going on with a relationship, and I don't know if I'm coming to terms with it really ending, or if it's still that I have to be patient. So I know that's two things there, so I'm just going to allow whatever is most important, to come through. And, in regards to the job, I've had some signs, like I feel like my dad on the other side is giving me some nudges and signs. My dad owned his own advertising business for a long time, but prior to that, he was an art teacher, and I'm a former teacher. I left the public school system and kind of took a hiatus, and due to kind of a lot of soul searching this past year and financial needs, I'm going back in. And this particular school that I interviewed at is actually the school that my dad did his student teaching at, like way back when. So I find that to be very interesting. But anyway, I will pause and hand the baton over to you guys.
Julianne, what I'm getting is your intuition is correct about this job. This job is actually going to be really good for you. It feels like it's going to kind of get you up and leveled out again, because they're showing me like an airplane flying crooked, and then the job, it's like the wings level out again. And they're saying it's not because you've done anything wrong. It's because you're needed in the place where you're going to. He's saying don't look at this job as you're abandoning your healing and reading work. Think of it as something that you're bringing all that you've learned and the vibration and the frequency that you're operating at into that space. Okay? He's saying that you will have opportunities to sprinkle your wisdom on people that would not listen to or hear it otherwise, or listen to it otherwise. So he's saying just don't see it as abandoning your business. See it as taking it out into this space. He's also saying it's really important that you understand where money and your income comes from, and it doesn't come from clients. Okay? He's saying it's so important that all people who fall under the umbrella of light worker understand where the sustenance comes from. And he's saying that will shift the entire industry. So he's saying he's asking you to really meditate on that, really tap into source, whatever that is for you, and connect that up with your heart and allow that energy to begin to be where you're coming, where you're connecting in, where you're requesting your sustenance from. And then it'll come filter down through the people around you. And he's saying in the meantime, you'll be doing your job and sprinkling these people in this new place that you're going to. And it looks like you'll probably only be there maybe about a year and a half. And then it feels like you may be able to step back full-time into your healing business. Well, it's called the healing business as a whole.
Love it. Okay. I was welling up with tears because you hit the core of maybe what's going on is not, I think that I haven't even been able to unearth that feeling, and that is what it is, that I feel like I'm an entrepreneur and I worked so hard to identify as that, and now I'm surrendering that, but I really needed to hear that. Okay.
Yeah, you're not. You're just working differently than you want to right now. But again, like I was talking at the beginning of the show, we have to remember who our boss is, and our boss is spirit, right? And so we follow where spirit sends us, and spirit is sending you into this other space for now, but it's not permanent, and it's for a time, and that will shift again.
Okay.
So it's all good.
I love it. I love all of it.
We're almost out of time here. I'm going to turn this over to Ken, and it was nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You had mentioned two things that you were calling about, and Michele was talking about the job, and the other thing was about a relationship that that you said is ending. You're trying to come to terms with that. Is that right?
I feel like my intuition is saying that, but it's been an investment in my life for like almost 10 years. But there's been a lot of difficulty. We are physically separated right now. So, I try to pull cards on it, and I continually get mixed messages because I think I'm conflicted, So it's very confusing and mutable and just a lot.
The song that was playing was George Thorogood, "Move It On Over." Do you know that one?
No, I don't, but it sounds kind of familiar.
Okay. Because I just feel like this is the message that it's time that something better is coming. And when you and Michele were talking, I feel like this doesn't really fit in your job and entrepreneur kind of thing, but as far as relationship, moving on over, a hot dog's moving in. I just feel like this means that something better is coming. I mean, it's constantly through the song, "Move it on over, a big bad dog's moving in," over and over, and it's just that, getting rid of something that no longer works, that no longer serves you, that's no longer for your highest good, and the tricky thing about that is that, and I'm sure you gotta let go of something so you can have something else. So
definitely,
I mean,
and definitely.
Yeah, but I just think I think that you're going to be really happy and something really amazing is coming for you. But the decision and the choice is yours.
And I think that this job commencing is going to really catapult that, because it's going to shift my focus. I'm going to be more busy with that. I still have things in storage from where I was living with him, and I'm trying to I'm trying to communicate with him so that I can just get that stuff out of that storage unit and just close that chapter of my life. So I'm still in this awkward phase where I'm still communicating with him, but I don't like the way, and I know our astrology synastry, and I know so much, and I don't like the way that things are with him. It's just like not fluid, like there's things that he says, or there's just, even though it's been such a long ride with him, I think I've always known it's a karmic relationship. We are supposed to learn things from each other, but that there's just something here that's not like permanent. Like, you're not my romantic partner for life, and I feel like I'm going to look up that song and I'm going to listen to it. I'm sure I'll release tears. Like, I was even crying a little bit as you said it. So I relate to even like what you had said with Liz, that, there will be this pressure released by January, because that's when this teaching job would start. It's actually not starting until January. So I really related to that, and I feel like this is very much I needed with the relationship bit, because I feel it, but so much of my life is in this state of crisis almost right now that it's been difficult for me to let go,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be fine, honey. Change
Thank
is
you so
always
much.
scary. Change is scary, but it doesn't have to be. It's kind of how you look at it, and if you can look at it as an adventure and an exciting new world. The song from Aladdin is coming into mind, that a whole new world. That it's like, kind of go at it with that kind of energy. It'll ease up on the pressure that's on you, because I feel like you have not expectations, but you've got that energy. Well, you said you're a Virgo too, so of course we like everything
I'm very analytical,
lined up,
so I'm
and
seeing,
alphabetized and color coordinated. It's allowed to get a little bit messy, and it's maybe time for you to let things get a little bit messy and be okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Writing that down.
Yeah, it's okay to be messy. And you actually will find a lot of freedom in letting go of trying to make everything be how it's quote unquote supposed to be.
So this is tremendously helpful. I just really needed to receive, because I've been very fragmented energetically. So even when I do card pulls, like, I'm not, it's always hardest to pull for yourself, Yeah, I really needed to receive, and I'm so grateful, and I'm just very grateful. So thank you so much.
Well, wonderful. I'm glad that you got through. That's awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
And
thank you
good
so
luck
much
with
for calling.
everything.
Yes, thank you so much. They already invited me to come back and do a demo lesson, so that's the next step. And, they said that they're interviewing a lot of other people, but I don't know. It's kind of like you said that I was even noticing in the interview how my intuitive abilities, I was able to read them better. Like, at one point they asked me a question and I could tell that I didn't answer the question properly. So then I kind of, rephrased it. So I think that I'm going to be going in and using my intuitive gifts to help the kids and interact with people in a much different way than the last time that I was in a public school when I really had not had my spiritual awakening then. So I think it's going to be very different,
Yep, totally. Yep, that's what Archangel Michael was saying. So go in and be joyous and enjoy. Experience it to its fullest. Let it be what it is.
Love it.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you for having me on and helping me. Thank you so much, both of you.
No
thank
problem,
you for calling
honey.
us.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Have a great night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I was about to give out the phone number again, and then I saw, hey, we're way past time.
I know. I'm waiting for the masters of Blog Talk to hang up on us again.
They do like to do that. Apologies to those who we weren't able to get to, but go to Michelle's website, micheleamburgey.com. It's Michelle with one L, AMBURGEY.com. And you can connect with Michelle and get a private reading. You can also go to psychictapestry.com, click on Get a Reading, and then you can click on Michelle, which will send you to her website. But so go to the website first. But if you do that at psychictapestry.com, you also have the choice of getting a reading with me or with any of the other hosts on the Psychic Tapestry shows. So so you could do that. We will not be here a week from tonight, but we will be back 2 weeks from tonight. So hang in there.
And we'll be at 7:30.
Right. We'll be starting a little bit later. So you're going to go to psychictapestry.com anyway. So when you do that, click on events and you will see the schedule. So of all the upcoming shows and you can kind of keep up to date, and then you will see, oh, they're going to be back in 2 weeks at 7:30. Right. Okay. Got it. And then when you forget, you can go back and check again. And then hopefully I can go back and check again because I'll forget too. I do have one more song, and I'm going to see if I can post it because I think it's for somebody that we didn't get around to getting to tonight. It's a song by Harry Nilsson called The Most Beautiful World in the World. And I'm going to post that on our Facebook page shortly after the show is over. So if we weren't able to get to you or you think that that might have a message for you, you're right, it does have a message for you. So go check it out. Not yet, but soon it will be up on our Facebook page. And I guess that's it. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thanks for everybody in the chat room. And Michelle, thank you for spending part of your birthday with us.
Thank you for having me. This is always fun.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. And there's the music. So you're right, Blog Talk Radio is going to kick us off. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great week, and we will catch you 2 weeks from tonight. Take care.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.